Hello, again, Geronimo. I think that's what I'm going to say every time I have tea. Or maybe that's how I'm just going to start everything. Anyway, before I begin my short storytelling abilities, um, one, I think you should know that the short story that I'm going to explain is not really a short story anymore. It's sort of like an idea for a more sense of maybe like a TV show or something. Because I just had this really huge idea I just had through the course of like maybe this weekend and the couple days in school. It's just progressed to this point, but anyway, yeah, it's just I think this is more of a I think it could be like a movie. I could turn it into a short film and then just spawn it into like a TV series for just reference to myself in later years. But anyway, first, well, that was first, but second, what you should also know is I'm starting to question reality because literally today I came home and I have like a patch of grass on two sides. On the right side of me, on the grass on the right side, there's a cat, a black cat actually, and it was just sitting there. And what I normally do if I see like a cat or something, I want to see if it's friendly or something. So I make like a pss, pss noise. And usually if the cat is friendly, it comes to me, and if it's not, it just kind of stares at me. But this one ran away after I did that and just like bolted and went into my backyard. So I was like, okay. I went inside and I'm just sitting there drinking a different cup of tea because I drink a lot of tea. Shut up, Dad. Anyway, I went over and I saw out the mirror. Blah, not the mirror, the window. I saw out the window that it was walking over there. So I was like, okay, I could see it walking, and I have like a little mini bridge that my dad built like 6 years ago. So it's walking on the bridge, and I was like, okay. And so I went outside. I followed it, and literally I saw it, and then I walked over to it, and then I guess something must have messed up what I was seeing, or maybe I'm just losing it because I literally cornered a rock, a black rock. I'm freaking the fuck out. Because literally it was a cat at one point, and now it's a rock. So, questioning reality right now because I don't know if I didn't see I'm pretty sure I saw a cat. So, and then I just, maybe the rock's probably always been there, and I just thought it was the cat when I went outside. Because, I mean, there's that brief moment when I left and then went out back. So maybe the cat just walked away and I just followed the rock the whole time. Either way, let's move on to my short story that I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you the different one that I've had for maybe, I think 2 months now. I was going to tell you that one today, which is called, what's it called? Oh, Newton's Apple. And it's not what you think it is. It doesn't have to do with physics or doesn't have to do with Newton. It's a superhero movie. Well, sort of like it's just a hero movie, not really a superhero, because it's about, I'll get into it later. I don't want to off track what I came up with today. But anyway, so, if you know me, and I explained to you before, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. So, and one of the things that I key in on about the Doctors is their sense of style and their sense of what they do and how they act. So, I was thinking about it today, I've thought about it so many times, but, if I were the Doctor, how would I act, and what would I wear? What would my costume be like? And how would my sense of being the Doctor be? Would I be, a know-it-all, idiot, or, sort of 10, or, would I be, 11, who's childish and selfish, or, how would I act? And I've always thought of trying to be the Doctor, and what I realize now, more a sense, is that I just want to create a character for myself that's sort of like the Doctor, and sort of not like the Doctor, where I don't have to key in on what it would be like to be the Doctor. I'm going to make my own character where I can put my own sort of dress sense into it and put my own sort of style of how he thinks and everything. So I was thinking about, like, what would the story be? So what I came up with is basically that it's a story about this guy. I don't know how old he's gonna be. Sort of, maybe 20s, maybe, yeah, somewhere around there. This is key points that I'm gonna fill in as I go along. But he's an apprentice to like an alien being, and they go around space, and they in like this ship or something. I'm probably gonna make his ship some sort of, maybe, I don't know. I'll make it something interesting, but the guy's name I came up with is Ezekiel Coulson. Ezekiel Coulson Pierce. Ezekiel Coulson Pierce. Now, of course, that's a mouthful, so they call him Cole. Sort of like, I keyed in points of things that I've come to like all of a sudden, which are the key point of the Winter Soldier, that I like, and his name is James Buchanan Barnes, and they call him Bucky. So what I did was I created Ezekiel Coulson Pierce, who they call him Cole. So I keyed in on that specific point, and I also made it sort of like a Star-Lord kind of thing, as we've seen from Guardians of the Galaxy, the trailer. I've come to really like Star-Lord, so he calls himself Star-Lord, the Star-Lord character. And I forget what his actual name is, but he calls himself Star-Lord, and he's the only one that calls himself that. So I made it so that Cole calls himself the Legendary Crusader. So what the Legendary Crusader basically does is he's like going around with his alien master dude, like his mentor, and suddenly he has a brisk idea of adventure. I don't know what is going to spur the moment for him, but he's just going to have this spur of the moment kind of feeling where he wants to go on his own and want to be an adventurer himself. So he steals the ship, leaves his mentor on some planet, takes everything that the mentor has taught him and all the gadgets and gizmos that the mentor has given him, and he just goes around doing adventures in space. So I'll probably turn that into like a short film where they do like the introduction of him and how he grows, and like his character in the very beginning is gonna be like, I don't want to help people, I just want to be an adventurer and like help myself and be kind of selfish, and he's kind of like a little bit of a douche, I guess you could say, but he's sort of like, I'm out for adventure. He leaves, steals everything, he's out doing whatever he wants basically, and then he's gonna key in on some sort of thing that he doesn't like, and he's going to try and fix it. So, sort of like the Doctor, how the Doctor starts, how he basically ran away with the TARDIS, but in the sense, I think I'm going to make it so that his mentor is actually up to no good in the first place, so his stealing of the ship and everything on it, and using it for good in the end, when he basically he vows to protect the universe. His mentor is up to no good and was going to use the ship and all the gadgets on there for like his own bidding. So his mentor is probably going to come back and they're going to have a fight. So that's going to be something that I'm going to grow on the sense of the Legendary Crusader. I really like the idea of the Legendary Crusader, and I like the name Legendary Crusader. Fun fact, I actually found a superhero name generator a long time ago, and basically it was a generator that basically gave you a name and the powers that the person had, and they gave me the Legendary Crusader, and the Legendary Crusader had healing abilities. So probably my Legendary Crusader will have healing abilities, but he's going to have like these gizmos and stuff, but he's not going to have anything like such as the Doctor, who only has a sonic screwdriver to protect himself. I don't think Cole is going to have anything like weapon-like, anything that he's going to have to use his brain, because he's going to be really smart, of course. So he's going to have to use his brain and basically his senses and all the gadgets on the ship that he stole, and basically try and protect people with that. So I like the character, the Legendary Crusader, and I think that could go far, and I could go like wild with how he dresses and how He talks about himself or how he expresses himself. And I'm basically just going to put in a lot about like how I am, not like the douchey bag part, but the douchey bag, not the douchebag part, but like just his sort of dress sense and like how he acts and how he tries to be smart and he tries to help people. I think I'm gonna like not trying to boast my personality, but I'm gonna try and add like a taste of myself because literally he's basically if I were the Doctor. That's what the character was created for. I mean, I had so many ideas. I've had Dave. Dave is a TV show that I created a long time ago with a couple of my friends, and basically Dave is a it's sort of like Adventure Time for like a I think it was going to be a web series actually, sort of like Adventure Time, but not really. It's about Dave and his shenanigans and all that stuff in the land of friendship. But it's just a wild, like, spur of the moment idea that I've always had, like this crazy, wacky sort of storyline sort of thing. That's Dave. Like that's like my wacky side. I've also had and also like same sort of cartoony, like it's like Adventure Time cartoon because I can draw like that. So Dave is like that, and then the other sort of cartoony looking thing like that is Dr. Professor Fletcher that I also came up with. And I wanted him, in a sense, to be what the Legendary Crusader was, which is my version of the Doctor. But I realize now that Dr. Professor Fletcher sounds too much like the Doctor himself. So I realize now he's not going to be going around in space. He's not going to be fighting aliens and saving the universe. That's not Dr. Professor Fletcher. It sounds too much like the Doctor, and I don't want to sound like anybody else. I don't want to sound like I'm just taking an idea from someone else. So like with the Legendary Crusader, I mean it's got aspects of other things, and I want it to go into a different way that hasn't been seen before. Like the Dr. Professor Fletcher and the Doctor sound too much alike, and then I want the Legendary Crusader to sound broad and different and go in a different sense because Doctor Who gave us a new sense of what a hero can be. So I want my sort of story to be a different side of a hero that we haven't seen before. That's like he's trying to prove himself at the same time, trying to name himself to give himself worth. I think what the Legendary Crusader is doing is he's trying to make himself worthy. I think that's going to be like an underlying theme about the Legendary Crusader. So in the end, when he starts to save the universe, he gets that sense of worthiness in the end. So that's sort of my mind creating different ideas. I have so many ideas, so that's how I'm gonna do VEDA now. I'm just gonna pour out my ideas for you guys to hear what I have to offer, really. Because I mean, I've written so much stuff down, and I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna go with it. So I'm just gonna start like vlogging about it so that I can go back and look at where I was instead of like trying to find the pieces of paper that I scribbled out. I mean, I can just describe the process that goes on in my mind for creating stories that I want to do. So there you have it. That's the Legendary Crusader. I'll probably talk about Newton's apple tomorrow. Newton's apple is nothing that you probably can think of. I mean, Newton's apple has nothing to do with Newton. Doesn't have to do with an apple. Doesn't have to do with physics. Somewhat, maybe a little bit of physics. I mean, kind of. But, I mean, it's just, for a hint for you guys, basically Newton's apple is the idea of how the apple hit him on the head and gave him the idea of the three laws of Newton. So basically that something is giving another person an idea. So that's what Newton's apple is. It's not, doesn't have to do with an apple, doesn't have to do with Newton. That's all I'm giving you. It's a misleading title, and I think that's the thing that I like about it, is it's misleading. So that's going to be fun. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. One more slip for you.